Right then, pull up a chair, grab a pint or a cup of tea if you're feeling proper, because today's tale is a right Roman grudge match. Cicero versus Mark Antony. Imagine gladiator meets courtroom drama meets political roast, only with way more togas and way fewer surviving friends. Let's get into it. It's 44 BCE, and Rome is more tense than a lion's arse in a porcupine pit. Julius Caesar, stabbed to bits by his own pals, has just exited stage left, and now the city's a mix of paranoia, power grabs, and a whole lot of shouting. Enter stage right, Marcus Tullius Cicero, Rome's most famous yapper, and Mark Antony, Caesar's boozy war buddy with biceps and ambition in equal measure. One wants to save the Republic, the other wants to rule it, maybe shirtless and drunk. This isn't just political beef. It's a philosophical cage match where eloquence faces off against brute force. Let's unravel the glorious, messy collapse of Republican Rome, featuring two men who hated each other's guts with Shakespearean flair, except this drama was real and people actually died. Cicero wasn't born into Rome's glittery elite. Nah, our boy came from the equestrian class, the Roman equivalent of upper middle management. But he had a brain like a lightning rod and a mouth that never knew when to shut up. His whole shtick: law, order, the Senate, and let's not have kings again, all right? He wrote books with fancy Latin titles like De Re Publica and De Legibus, waxed lyrical about virtue and duty, and loved reminding everyone he was not a fan of Caesar's whole one-man show vibe. After Caesar's death, Cicero hoped the Republic might be revived, like an aging rock band doing a comeback tour. But he wasn't just writing op-eds. He launched an oratorical war on Antony with his Philippics, a 14-part verbal assassination that makes modern Twitter beefs look like toddler pillow fights. Mark Antony, on the other hand, was built different, literally. A soldier through and through, Antony served under Caesar during the Gallic Wars and the civil war against Pompey. Loyal to Caesar? Absolutely. Willing to share power? About as likely as a lion giving up its steak. Antony had the charisma of a frat bro and the subtlety of a battering ram. While Cicero clutched pearls and quills, Antony rolled into town with Caesar's will, a suspicious amount of wine and a whole lot of muscle. After Caesar's assassination, Antony grabbed for power like a Roman kid at Saturnalia. He whipped up support with promises of cash, land and chaos, making himself both a man of the people and a real pain in Cicero's senatorial backside. Cicero's Philippics were Roman mic drops. He tore into Antony like a lion on leftover gladiators. He called him a drunk, a disgrace, a would-be dictator, and most insultingly, a threat to the sacred republic. Quote time. Antony is a man who has neither moderation in prosperity nor wisdom in adversity. Oof. He accused Antony of everything from looting Caesar's fortune to consorting with shady dancers. Antony, according to Cicero, wasn't just unfit to rule, he was unfit to share a meal with. And here's the kicker. Cicero genuinely thought his words might stop Antony's rise. He believed in the Republic that much. Or maybe he just really loved hearing himself talk. Antony didn't take the roasting well. Surprise, surprise. He rallied Caesar's old legions and struck a deal with two rising players, Lepidus and Octavian, Caesar's teenage heir who looked soft but had a heart full of ambition and spreadsheets. Together, they formed the Second Triumvirate, a sort of murdery management team with full executive powers and zero chill. And what was item number 1 on their agenda? That's right, kill the loud guy. In 43 BCE, the triumvirate started the prescriptions, a polite Roman way of saying, here's a list of people we're going to kill, cheers. Cicero's name was top of the list. Why? Because nothing says team player like publicly accusing your co-ruler of being a wine-soaked disgrace to Rome. Cicero tried to flee, but was caught. And in a final bit of poetic, twisted revenge, Antony had his hands chopped off, so no more writing, and his head displayed in the forum. Yes, Antony literally stuck Cicero's head on a spike. Ancient Rome, subtle as ever. By the way, get this. Cicero's death was so symbolic, Octavian, future Augustus, reportedly didn't support it, even though he signed off on it. Later in life, he kept a copy of Cicero's De Officiis by his bedside, like a bedtime story of what not to do when making deals with men like Antony. Guilt, maybe, or just poetic irony. Let's break it down like a toga party gone philosophical. Cicero had moral clarity. He truly believed in the Republic. He was the old guard, the constitutionalist, the guy who thought law and reason could win over armies and ambition. Antony, he had purpose too, but it was Caesar's purpose, and when that ended, Antony's became survival, power, influence, control. He played the populist card hard, but his methods were blunt force politics. Was Cicero naive? Probably. He underestimated how much people loved a strong man. Was Antony ruthless? Definitely. But in the vacuum left by Caesar's death, ruthless was survival. After Cicero's death, Rome wasn't Rome anymore. It was pre-empire, baby. Octavian turned on Antony, surprise, and eventually defeated him and Cleopatra at Actium. And just like that, the Republic became the Roman Empire. Cicero's words lived on, taught in schools from London to Lagos. Antony's name? Mostly associated with Cleopatra and bad decisions involving boats and snakes. In the end, Cicero lost his head, but his ideas endured. Antony kept his head for a while, but lost the war for the soul of Rome. So what's the takeaway, lads and lasses? Cicero tried to fight a man with legions using Latin and good intentions. Noble? Yes. Effective? Not so much. Antony ruled like a hammer, loud, fast, and destined to break. But Cicero, he became legend. Not for winning, but for believing. Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay just sober enough to remember it all. This was just a swig of history, and if it wasn't in your textbook, it bloody well should have been. And before you go, do a brother favour, like, share, and subscribe.